Hey guys, Jessica here. So today we're just going to take a few minutes and talk about wearable pumps and wearable cups and milk supply. So here's the hard reality about wearable pumps and cups. They're not our most efficient pumping option. A traditional flange is always going to be more effective for the vast majority of people. Are there going to be exceptions to that rule? Absolutely. Some people get the same amount no matter what pump they use. Some people let down really, really easy. Some people have a really good milk supply. Other people have a easier time pumping with wearables because wearables can actually reduce issues with elasticity just because of how flanges fit. So when you are using a traditional flange, it's going to be likely to pull away from the body. So if you have an inefficiency with elasticity that is, amplified by that, you may find that when you go to use a wearable and we've got that backwards pressure against the breast tissue in the areola, you may actually see an increase in your pumping efficiency. That's the exception, though. That's not the rule. On average, what we see consistently supporting thousands of pumping parents is that a wearable, on average, gets 80 to 90% of the output you would get with a traditional flange. For some people, they have a really healthy milk supply. They can use wearables all the time, and it never causes any issues for them. They pump often enough that they can help compensate. For other people, they go to use a wearable and their supply takes a 20% hit, and it's really unique to each person. So here's the bottom line. Wearables are a choice. Sometimes they're the only option, and if they're the only option, we just need to work to make them as efficient as possible. The success with wearable pumps comes down to alignment, flange sizing, bra fit, and adjusting to it. And then there is also the factor that not all wearables are created equal. So this is a wearable cup, this is a wearable pump. With a wearable pump, I tend to see closer to that 80%, even if it's a really good pump, even if it's efficient. Some people get really, really lucky, and I love that for them. Other people don't. So a wearable pump tends to be on the lower efficiency side. If we pair a wearable cup with a heavy duty motor, even a heavy duty portable motor, we may get closer to that 90%. If we have flange sizing issues, if we have bra fit issues, if we have pump schedule issues, you may not even get to that 80% efficiency. You may absolutely tank your supply. If we do everything right, the goal is to get you at least to that 90%. Sometimes we can even get it a little bit higher, but on average, it's 80 to 90%. So I'm going to link below in this video two different resources for you. One, we're going to link a blog about the expectations because there's a little bit of informed consent that goes with using this. For me personally, it made sense for me to use the wearable because with the wearable, I could get more pumps in. So I could pump every 90 minutes to 2 hours with a wearable and get my numbers of emptying the breast up sky high compared to using traditional flanges where every 3 to 4 hours was a struggle for me. We can make it so that your pumping plan supports you being able to use a wearable. It just may not look the same as if you were using traditional flanges. So we have that whole blog on milk supply. There's even a calculator built in so that you can see some pump sessions, it could be a much bigger impact if you use a wearable than others. So it's going to allow you to put in 8 different amounts that you would expect to get at a particular pump session based on using traditional flanges. And then you can see, is that a pump session that you can afford to lose 20%? If you're making 5 ounces, that 20% drop is going to be significantly less than if you were making 8 ounces in terms of your overall impact. So it allows you to play with it so that you can make an informed choice on what you want to do. The other one is going to be a resource on how do you actually use wearables effectively. And in that, we have lots of different blogs linked. We have a whole course. It's the Genuine Lactation On Demand program that teaches you how to successfully use wearables. It goes deep into each aspect of it. Did you know that, we have free alignment videos that are about 30 to 45 seconds a piece and teach you the different ways to align a wearable, but we also have more than a 30-minute class on aligning that goes over all the pitfalls we see, teaches you lots of different strategies, gives you even more tools to help you make the most of using these wearables. And we have that for every aspect of the wearable that you need to know about. So I will link that all down below, but do understand if you're using a wearable option, that's not our most efficient option. So you have to think that through to decide how to incorporate wearable options into your pump plan. And if wearables are the only option for you, at some point you do have to, make peace with the fact that they're not the most efficient, but some milk is better than no milk, and we can almost always use a wearable to help support your goals. The other thing that I want you to know is that not all lactation consultants have the skill set in order to support wearable pumps. A lot of lactation consultants have a really good understanding of how to fit flange for traditional pumps. So, with the Spectra, they've got that down. But when you start asking them to do a wearable, they don't know about these wearables. They don't understand them. They might only be able to achieve 50 to 60% efficiency for you because they are not using these wearables. That's not what their specialty is. They're experts in latching and in using heavy duty, efficient pumps for short term pumping needs. And you can use that when you go back to work. A lot of people don't actually need a wearable. For those that do, you're going to want to work with an expert in pumping who understands wearables if you're choosing to use that as part of your pump management plan. So I hope this helps. I hope this explanation helps you understand why it is that we caution you against using a wearable full time without thinking it through. I hear lots of stuff on social media where people say, oh, I only want you to use that once or twice. I actually cannot stand when people say that because it's not up to you. What I want is for you to understand what the different tools at your disposal are and how you can use them to support your goals. I honestly could not care less if you're okay with the loss of milk supply and you want to be exclusively a wearable user. I will help you. I will not shame you for it. I promise I support you in that. It's just an informed choice. And if your goal is to make maximum milk output, it may not be the right option for you. For other people, it's the only option or it's the option they want. So hopefully these resources help you figure out how to best use wearables and how to understand how they could impact your milk supply. Hopefully that helps and happy pumping.